What is spiritual hunger? We may not even know what physical hunger really is. We have lived in a land of abundance, and we've never really experienced sustained spiritual hunger. Because of COVID this past year, a lot of people started planting their own gardens, and they once again realize the joy of producing their own food. And this is something that may become very, very useful in the days ahead. One of these tomato plants is a result of that. And as we begin to produce individually and as we begin to share the abundance, I believe it will tie us into what our greatest need is, and that is a spiritual need. Hunger. When an individual fasts, they begin to understand what the hunger is all about. They realize that it's more than a desire. This discomfort that comes on reveals a weakness and a realization of our need that we have. And we realize that we're deprived of this nourishment. And at times it kind of weakens us, yes, in the flesh, but that we might be strengthened in the spirit. And so it will pull us over there. And it ought to cause us to recall the verse here that's pointed out in Luke 6:21. Blessed are ye that hunger, for ye shall be filled. When you think about your spiritual hungering, do we really hunger and thirst for the Lord? In Psalms it says, as a deer panteth for the water, so my soul panteth for the Lord. Do we have that kind of hunger? You ever think about your spiritual diet? In the physical realm, we have what we call junk food, and then there's just simply fillers, and then we have the food that truly nourishes. What does our spiritual diet look like? Is it junk? What do we allow our mind to just really kind of feast on? We're in an informational time period here where there's all kinds of things that we're feeding our minds constantly. Is it junk? Is it filler? Or is it stuff that has true spiritual nutrients? You might say, well, how do I get that? Well, by the Word of God. And if you're a child of God, and you're a part of a local New Testament church where the Spirit of God will lead you into all truth, you're going to get that nourishment that you need. Otherwise, it just may be fillers. It may be just these devotionals, it may be these whatever the hottest book is, and it may be just this service, but what you find is it doesn't sustain you. You've got to keep doing it. You've got to keep reading it. And you're going to see that it doesn't become a part of your DNA. It doesn't become a part of who you are. When I was a kid, they would say, you are what you eat. And we would laugh at that. And, we would make little jokes. Oh, I'm a carrot. But it's actually true. And so what is it that you are feasting on? The verse in our devotional that's pointed out here is John 6:48 through 51. He says, I am the bread of life. I'm the living bread which comes down from heaven. If any man eat of this bread, he shall live forever. The bread that I will give is my flesh, which I will give for the life of the world. And so we see this, that Jesus is saying, I'm your sustenance. If we are what we eat, and we are eating of the Word of God, then we're going to see that we're not just children of God because of a spiritual birth, but we're children of God in our very makeup. When people see us, they see Him. I want to encourage you to, when you think about your pursuit of God, to question, do you have a spiritual hunger? Are you hungering and thirsting for Him? Is He the thing that sustains you? Have you stripped off everything else and said, it's just Him that I want? This world has tentacles and it just wants to pull you. Have you gotten to the point where you just completely starve the flesh, feed the spirit, and your greatest delight is Him? If not, I would encourage you to spend some time doing that. Take a fast, physically with food, but yes, also with all the other things, that you might focus on Him. You might say, well, how long? Well, I'd say be bold. Be bold. Say it takes 6 weeks to produce a new habit. You might want to shoot for the moon. May God bless you. May you have a spiritual hunger that only He can satisfy.